Just living life, doing what needs to be done, I guess. I should probably close that window, though, maybe. I finally got these two settled. They're done playing for the morning. I hope everybody's doing well. It's been a few nice days. I know I haven't asked for rain, so if your weather isn't good, don't blame me, please. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Seeking you shall find, asking you shall receive, manifestation. It's all the same thing. It all means the same thing. So let's please on this channel not get caught up in words. Let's learn what words mean and let us have a discussion about things and not assume what somebody believes or what they're thinking just by one statement. Let's be a little easier on each other. The internet is a cesspool at times, and it promotes dissension, division, and just rudeness and hastiness, right? Not taking time to understand somebody or where they're coming from, or even what they mean. Just say, what do you mean by that? And if in the end you still don't agree, or you can't agree to disagree, then dust off your feet and go somewhere else, or make a new friend, start a new conversation. These topics might not seem like they go together. Let me turn the comments on. Hopefully they will work today. I love ravens. I love ravens too. I love birds. I just love animals, but lately the raven has kind of been a thing for me. And so it is the perfect month to talk about symbols and symbolism. And again, on this channel, we understand we're not going to fear these things. We're not going to fear the symbols themselves, right? As it is the intention of the person and the belief of the person wielding said symbol. And it is, in the end, kind of a battle of wills, whether or not your belief outmatches their belief. If you were talking about spiritual warfare or somebody trying to supersede your sovereignty. We are told these fights are not with flesh and blood. And while there's a lot of scripture that is very helpful and it is all profitable to learn from, I do think we're supposed to divide it properly, read it in context at times if we cannot understand it, and even sometimes question the translators or where it come from, or why certain things are being said, because I know not everything resonates with me, and I can be honest about that. And I can also be honest about, the only paradigm I'm really under is kind of a Christian-like paradigm, but I am a little more open, I believe, than mainstream Christians, and I try not to be hateful of other people just because they share or they don't share my beliefs or they have their own faith, right? But there is something else going on here, something that maybe is not in our books, or maybe is hidden, or maybe we just haven't discovered yet. All of the above. So let's talk about that. And I think a way that we can learn a lot about where we're at is, of course, symbols. We all know at this point symbols rule the world. Like, we've all been through that gamut, right? We've come through the first layer of the main rabbit hole here, and we have graduated that superficial level of things. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about where symbols originate from. And when I say symbols, I'm not necessarily meaning just an icon. And by icon, I mean, maybe you'd call it like an emoji today. By symbol, I don't mean just an emoji or just a simplified sigil, right? When I say symbol, I don't just mean sigil. If you look at this picture here, there's a reason I have it up, and we're going to talk about symbols again, because something else comes up in this movie, and it is, again, you see these men in black, but you also see these other men who kind of look like the beings from the series, the Hellraiser series. And so we're going to talk about that and why these same tropes continue on and on and on throughout our stories that we create, whether they be through media, visual arts. But again, we see these same symbols with the clock, with the bigger tunnel looking thing that's a little like CERN as well. In the original background, I'll show you that in a minute. This guy who's in the black, he's the pale face. He's almost Frankenstein-like, looking like he might have been stitched together. You've got the leather, and he greatly resembles the character in Hellraiser. I'm not sure which series came first, but again, you see these tropes throughout mainstream media, but you also see them in our lives with missionaries, with the FBI guys. Everybody makes fun of them because you always know the FBI because they got the black trench coats and the black pants and the white shirts. They don't know how to wear anything else, right? Ha ha ha. Well, that's a trope in and of itself, but you get what I'm saying. Symbols aren't always just miniature thumbnails or icons. Excuse me while I take a drink of a beverage here. So, I've been really ravens are kind of a thing for me. And it's not because they're like harbingers or anything like that. Symbols can mean more than one thing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to look into the trope or the symbol of sleep and why it seems like the story keeps being retold about things happening against our consent and even against our full awareness. Why is this a trope? Why is this a thing? Nightmares, sleep paralysis, the demon or the elephant or the hag sitting on your chest. Why are all these things definitively found repeating over and over throughout urban legends, movies, stories, folklore, and even in real life, as I said, with FBI agents and missionaries that come to your door, whether they be Mormon or Baptist or otherwise. So we're seeing a lot of this, and I'm even to the point like I'm so removed from things. Like I don't participate really in politics. I don't want any part of that. I think it's like wrestling for adults. If you watch it now, it's a lot like WWE or WWF, which I used to watch just for fun because, hey, at least you know what you're getting there. With politics, it's supposed to be a serious adult arena, and it's been made into a boxing arena, and it's just it's just not my thing, right? And so the more removed I get from these things, the more fake things look from the outside, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Now, I understand what psychology majors and all that will say, this is dissociation. That's not what this channel is about. We will look into psychology, and we do. We are educated. We are autodidactic here. But we're also wise enough to know that just because something is in mainstream doesn't mean it's a good thing. And just because our favorite YouTubers are pushing a thing doesn't mean it's true. And they're getting together, and isn't that like a crossover series? These people all knew each other before this, most of them. They knew each other. Most of them have talent agents. It never used to be like that. YouTube wasn't like that in the beginning when it first started. But now every woman you see wants to be an actress or have a video go viral, and so she's always made everything is just fake looking. And I don't mean, again, I'm not coming after, I'm not going after people here. I'm saying the spirit that is driving our society, right, is very material. Is very materialistic. And don't get me wrong, I love nature, and you can touch, feel, taste, and see nature, right? I'm talking about the fake imprint matrix thing we've got going on within that. Now, I'd like to say that I would hope that a good creator would never allow certain things to happen, but at the same time, I believe our creator is a creator of life and love and light, but also of liberty. What do I mean by that? Our creator gives us free will. Our creator gave us this plane, this realm, and said, this is yours. This is what I'm giving to you, right? And we have chosen what has happened here. Most people do not want to hear that. And my views probably just went down because I said it, but it's true. And the moment we acknowledge these things, the moment we can treat them, have solutions or cures or, medicate them, and we can get spiritually well again. But we also need to be spiritually well to fight whatever darkness that either came into this realm uninvited. Was it created by the Creator God? I know what the Bible says. But I don't know, because even God seems surprised by the serpent being in the garden in the first place. I know God has a plan. I believe God's plan will prevail. But I do believe that there is more than we have been told, and we have to dig for these answers. Good video. Thank you so much. So let's look at this verse. And now why? And I know, oh my gosh, it's an ancient verse from the Bible, and everybody hates the Bible now. And what can we possibly learn from it? And what can it tell us today when we have science, which tells us about quantum mechanics and theories and quantum entanglement, Well, I'm here to tell you that I think we're all talking about the same things, and that we shouldn't be arguing about it, but trying to figure things out and solve them and figure out how they work. Because basically we're still babies, right? We got a bunch of blocks. We're putting them we're smelling them. We're putting them in our mouth and tasting them. We're feeling them, right? Banging them on the ground, trying to figure out how they all go together. We're basically still babes. So what does this mean, and how does it relate today? And can it relate today? Well, I believe it does. This is Matthew 13:25. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Meaning, he came while we slept. And sleep is not forever, it is a short time. So he knew that he did not have long. So he did what he needed to do, and then he left to continue doing that to others, on and on. What were you doing today, Satan? Oh, I was going to and fro upon the earth, right? And I don't like how earth and Eden are used interchangeably in scripture. Is Eden earth? Is it on top of earth? Is it within earth? I think all of these places are within, beside, on top of, underneath of each other. I do believe there's a hierarchy, but I believe we take up, quote unquote, the same space. Not the same. This is going to be weird to explain. So the Book of Mormon, we looked at that, and that also has a few verses in there that seem to allude to parallel dimensions, and saying that everyone will become like Christ and have their own plane to rule over. Now we're told that Christ will come to judge the earth, but we're also told that Satan runs the earth during the day. We see that power struggle of light and dark again. We see that contradiction again. Does everybody have a wicked doppelganger? Technically, Lucifer would be Christ's brother, and if Lucifer really is the Satan that fell. Now again, Satan is a generic term. I can call you a Satan, you can call me a Satan. It just means liar or deceiver. So we have to put all these puzzle pieces together and figure out how they work. And we have to start with what is the closest to us and work our way out. That's how we reach truth. That's how we reach the origins of a thing. That's how we reach God. Even scientists today, right? They explored our world, and then with the LHC, what they're supposed to be doing is going out bit by bit by bit by bit. Again, you have that ripple effect. Again, you have that circle. Again, you have that LHC symbolic circle, right, that we see in so many movies. It was in that Hulu movies I told you guys about. Don't recall the title right now, but the guy had a chip in his tooth, ha ha ha, and he was traveling through. He would walk into the thing that CERN shows us and tells us it's like the LHC motor or whatever. He walked into that thing. And now again, you have it here in this circle. So what does all this have to do with symbology and Dark City? Well, let's forget Dark City just for a minute. Right now we're looking at images, right? So we have the image of these guys in black again, right? And they look like the gang from Hellraiser. They look like the same beings, right? But then You also have the guys with Kiefer Sutherland and the hats, if I can find them. Because you start out, they end up being like this. They don't start out like this. That's how they get after messing with themselves, experimenting with their bodies, trying to reach that spiritual transcendence, right? Trying to force some type of spark or soul within. The problem is that when you go so far dark, you can't turn around again. I imagine it's like quicksand, sludge, like a trail from the Never-Ending Story. Okay, so there's an image with him. And he's got the hat on, but of course, right now when I'm looking, there we go. And then you have this illusion. This is Jennifer Connelly. It's another scene, same movie, Dark City. You have this man again with Men in Black, right? He's got the black hat. He's got the black coat. So why do we see these tropes? Why do we see these things all over? Well, we're going to look at this briefly, just because it's something that's been on my heart and mind, and it's kind of just following me around. Saint Benedict, it was also, it's a symbol on his medal. Allegedly, it saved him from poison. It carried off a poisoned biscuit. So in Greco-Roman antiquity and Greek mythology, ravens are associated with Apollo, the god of prophecy. Now, in the Bible, we're told Apollo is just another name for the devil, or a fallen angel, right? See, again, these things aren't said. You have to infer them. Is this the truth? And what is the truth? Well, Greek mythology seems to have held these beings up. They propped them up. But you have to understand that Rome eventually became Christian. It became Catholic. Oh, the little girl's squeaking. I'm sorry. Am I being too loud? Am I being too loud for the little... I gotta show you guys a picture of her when I get time. Come here. Can you move over? Can you just... Boy, is she fussy. I don't know. I'm used to little boy dogs. Greetings. I was not referencing you in my video. Ended up in court because I removed television from my child's life. I don't know which video. I'll have to go back and check it out. They are said to be a symbol of bad luck and were the God's messengers, little g, in the mortal world. So they were the messengers of the fallen ones or whatever. Divination. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't think. Oh, yes, that last day. Okay. Huh? When you said cat and heat, I said, okay, that's really harsh. That definitely is not me. So I know she's not talking about me. Okay, back to the... I'm sorry, guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about. I was replying to a friend of the channel. They are said to be a symbol of bad luck and were the God's messengers in the mortal world. Not happy day, yes, you as well. And God sent out doves, right? So we see birds often as messengers, but we also see birds as what else? They're not just messengers. What else are they? Well, in the Bible, we are told that God will keep us under the feathers of his habitation, right? And so yes, they're omens as well, right? And an omen is a symbol, but it's someone who's constantly looking for the devil and things, for the wicked, in things as well. But you're right, it can be an omen. Now, they're God's messengers. Now, what is another word for messengers, though? Angels. I think it's funny, all this references of feathers and messengers to angels. And then you have birds. And there's this whole campaign that says birds aren't real, birds aren't real, birds aren't real. And it's funny, my dad was a bird watcher. He was an Audubon man, and he would watch birds with the binoculars. And he got one year he got a ornament for the tree, and it's a little bird looking through these binoculars, like at you from the tree. And I still put it up in my tree, and It's funny because this Birds Not Real campaign is saying, okay, the CIA uses birds, which we already know they use them. Tesla used birds. But fake? Like, are they actually fake? Yes, yes, owls. I'm gonna segue there in one moment. Um, so I think it's strange that we use all these words interchangeably, and I think that it deserves a second look oftentimes. If birds and angels are both messengers, if they both have feathers, again, we're taking it down to the bare minimum, to the raw bare bones of it, right? Just like Sesame Street. Which one of these things does not belong here? Which one of these things just isn't the same? But we're looking at the same things, and we're pulling that thread of common truth that's from all of these stories, fables, lores, legends, blah 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 blah, historical stories. And what else? Owls. And what are owls said to be associated with? And I'm going someplace with that. I will get to cats in a minute. I know it's in the title, but just bear with me. Owls. And I just watched this movie again, and I rarely watch movies over because I don't forget plot lines, like characters and stuff in movies and books. So it's really hard for me to watch things over again or read things over again. But the fourth kind talked about this, about how whenever they tried to do regressive hypnosis on somebody, that when they got to a certain point, the person would see an image of an owl, and they think that this was an implanted image from the alien. Or was it? Owls are symbolic with wisdom. Owls are said to carry wisdom with them. Psalm 91 says that we will remain under the wings of thy habitation. Keep me in thy feathers. In the Apocalypse of John, or the book of Revelation, Apocalypse just means revelation. Doesn't mean war. Apocalypse means revelation. And just to put it out there. And we are definitely living in an apocalyptic time. We're seeing a lot of revelations. It says that the eagle shall carry the woman away to the wilderness, where she will remain for 3.5 years, same amount of time as the two witnesses. That's why I think one of the witnesses is a woman, at least one. But you have this owl thing and the bird thing and the feather thing tied up in wisdom and alien abductions. But we're also said that we will remain under the feathers of thy habitation. Now, there probably isn't going to be a lot about this, because every time I Google alien abduction, there's almost no information anymore. I don't know why. The owls are not what they seem, and that's Twin Peaks. It turned out to be aliens using screen memories. That's what they're called, screen memories, to disguise themselves as owls, okay? So we have all these things happening during sleep as well. So now that I kind of introduced you, well, let's go back. Let's do cats real quick. This is weird to me, and I'll tell you why. Why are we going to the etymology tool, Jen? Because cats aren't in the Bible either, ever, anywhere. You see them in Egyptian mythology, but they're never mentioned in the Bible. Not feline, not cat. And they could be nasty buggers. But they are animals, and we're told about things that creep and crawl, and serpents and dragons and dogs, but never cats. They're never mentioned. Why is that? I want to know where the word itself came from. Circa 700, domestic cat from West Germanic, Old Frisian Kate, Norse. A lot of things come from Norse history. From late Latin catus, the near universal European word. Now, it appeared in Europe as Latin cata in circa 75 CE, Byzantine Greek, and was in general use on the continent by 700, replacing Latin felis. Now, yes, we're going to look at feline. How old is feline and where is that from? When I think of cats, I think of Turkey. Why are you spelling everything wrong? When I think of cats, I think of Turkey. No offense, I'm not trying to be rude. I could have swore I've talked to you before, though, and you didn't spell like that. That's weird. Cat-like, 1680, from late Latin felinus. Felinus? How would you say that? Turkey, the country. Cats are everywhere there. Yeah, and they're all over, like, Egyptian history. So cat-like, 1680, from late Latin felinus, of or belonging to a cat. So it's from Latin. And I told you, multilinguistic or intentional. Right, sun, moon, and water. That's what I was wondering. Spelling. I get it. People think, I don't know, they think everybody's naive. Like I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. This is like my millionth turn around this merry-go-round, and I'm ready to get off now, please and thank you. I would like to live a normal life where I'm not hassled, tormented, bothered, or otherwise, I don't know, harassed by darkness. It gets a little old. You know, time of rest, peace. How did they have time for a renaissance with everybody always being so divisive? So let's look, as felines as a symbol. Sorry, my little head's in the way too when I try to type there, so I really wish I could get another device, but everything's so ridiculous now. Pharaohs highly respected their feline companions. That's what I call my dogs, my furry companions, who are also used as religious symbols for grace, poise, wisdom, strength, and fertility. I also heard in a 1970s movie that I was watching the day before yesterday. It was like 1972, and it was about cat people. And it said how if you see a cat in Egyptian hieroglyphics, the cat on the human body was for the past, and the reverse was for the future. I had never heard that iteration before. But again, I find it very interesting. I try to go back. This is why I try to go back, because our current information seems lame. Stalked and harassed. They love us, right? Yeah, sure they do. What kind of love is that, man? Because I don't want no part of that. Cats are featured in ancient hieroglyphics and Egyptian structures. They are part of the anatomy of several ancient goddesses, including the goddess Bastet and Sekhmet. And that's big right now. There's, what is it called? The cult of Set. I think that might be who that's for. And I'm talking about this because you're seeing an uprising of all of this again. And I don't know if it's true, but I've been made to understand, and these people know that I know symbols, and, you know, we're all past that point at this point. Hello. I've been made to understand that reincarnation is not what we think, and that it can happen whenever you do the ritual or choose to do it or agree to do it. Hi, nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you for saying hello. And so is this true? I don't know, but they want me to believe that it is. And so I look at these things, you know, the symbol of the cat. Why are people now with cats seeming to definitely, not all people. Now, again, I'm not making blanket statements. I love all animals, even cats. I've had several. But something is going on with this ancient religion again, you know? So let's take a look. It seems like there's an uprising of this, and this is leading somewhere, okay? This is leading to my theory about the timeline, about what has happened in the world between 2017 and 2024. And this is all leading to that theory I have. Yes, I like to go to the live chats when possible. It's nice to see you. I hope everybody's well too. I wish I had a moderator. So there's an uprising or a rebirth of this. We saw them do this Egyptian ceremony in 2019, right when CV started, they were celebrating. So very strange. Katie too, pick me. Huh? I will. I think I'll go do that. Is that your main account now, Katie too? Okay, sorry, I got off track. So cats, yeah, I was following along in the chat, and it can get distracting when you're trying to do both. I was told I'm brutal as a mod. Oh, that's funny. Katie too, yes. Good vid, thanks. Thank you. So there's an uprising of this again, and if you haven't noticed it, yes, it's out there, and this is all leading to my theory about what has happened in the world between the years of 2017 specifically and 2024. We could say it all started in 2000 with 9/11. I don't know if things were quite that strange. They definitely were starting to get different, and changes were being made in our society. But a lot of us have had strange experiences, like near-death experiences. Did we actually die? Did we pop over to a different universe because all these people that we used to know are different? People call us schizophrenic. Now they're calling for insane asylums to open, which I talked about ad nauseum. I told you guys they were going to do this, but it's not going to be for the people they're saying it's going to be for. It's going to be for individualists. It's going to be for people who refuse to bury the truth. It's going to be for people who stand up for the truth. But if we are in some type of parallel dimension, can we just pop over to another one? Like, these are all questions I have. So this is all leading to my main timeline, which hopefully is a video we're going to do this weekend together. I thought that was cooks that spoil the soup. Oh, too many mods spoil the broth. That's funny. So this is leading there to this false reincarnation, I believe, that they may or may not be practicing. Or is it a strange resurrection of these fallen gods, fallen angel gods? Is it a strange resurrection of that? Is it a time of theirs again? Is it the time of revelation? I don't know. But I think it's definitely a time of tribulation. And Egyptology has a lot to do with that. So they symbolize grace, intelligence, cunning, and independence. What do they represent spiritually? Inspire courage and help us not to fear the unknown. I don't know if I'd agree with that, but what is the Egyptian myth about cats? Cats were magical creatures capable of bringing good luck to the people who housed them. Who is the Greek god of cats? Oh, that's fascinating. Artemis. I actually appreciate Greek mythology, and I actually like or appreciate the character of Artemis. So, in England, okay. England. If you're not following along, look into the live chat, because I'm just looking at that for a minute. Hold, please. And so the Greek god Artemis, and she actually has a lot to do with mugwort. They named mugwort her Latin. I have the bottle over here because I use mugwort. It's very good for females. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not a doctor of any kind. Please see your chosen professional for said advice. I must have got rid of the bottle. Artemis vulgate, I think it's called, is the Latin word for mugwort. And I actually really like the character of Artemis. I'm not worshiping her, okay? I'm not doing that. I just can relate. You'll see that these characters, right? And you might think they're a character. I might actually think they represent fallen angels. Who's right? I don't know right now. You don't know either. Broth, B-R-O-T-H, is what he's talking about, Pete. We're having spelling issues. Oy vey. I actually really appreciate her, and you'll see that these little g gods and goddesses often carry, I mean, if you want to talk about the psychology and psychotomy of it all, they carry characteristics of human beings, and so, of course, we relate. Much like children carry the characteristics of their parents, and I have to ask this, and again, I'm asking questions. We're told to approach God as a child. We're allowed to ask questions. So anyone that wants to call me a heretic just for asking questions, I mean, I guess you can. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were there. I was just gonna... Did I hurt you? You cuddle under the blankets and then I don't see where you're at. Oh, having a little dog. I'm gonna feel so bad if I fall on her or something. Okay, stay there where I can see you, okay? I'm sorry. Yes, language does differ. I'm just kidding around. No disrespect intended. Oh, no, I totally understood what you meant. And I agree with you. 100%, sun, moon, and water. I just also know there are certain things, you know, I'm not just like you. Let's be tactful from now on. I do believe truth is important, and I do believe you should put things out there and not be afraid. But I also am learning that not everybody's ready for every truth, and that maybe there's a reason for certain quote-unquote secrets. Are they secrets, or have we just not begun seeking the answers yet? Ye old algorithm. Cats were associated with her because they were considered hunting animals and guardians of nature, which is strange because wolves hunt too, and dogs. Dogs are actually important in Egyptian culture too. Anubis is one of their dogs of the underworld. And what else? Oh, dogs also allegedly guard the portals or gates to and from heaven and hell. I believe that there are portals all around the world, and when I said that we have one world on top of another, this is what I meant by that. Kind of, I think things are more like Stargate than this solar system that they teach us about. I don't think that solar system is necessarily operating the way we are shown it to be operating. That's all I'm going to say about that topic for right now. But you see, cats and dogs and things are often guardians, and that birds or things with wings are messengers. I find that really telling, okay? Now, if we look... When was the word... When were cats discovered? See, I think they like shrunk them. I think they started out as tigers or something. 3,700 years ago, settlements in the Fertile Crescent, Israel, and the surrounding countries. A burial site in Cyprus provides the first archaeological evidence of humans and cats living side by side as far back as 9,500 years ago. And we know with their carbon dating, we really can't trust that. Experts traditionally thought the Egyptians were the first to domesticate the cat 3,600 years ago. I would believe that. I would go with that right there, the evolution of house cats. And Egyptians were the first to domesticate them, and obviously they were ahead of us in a lot of things. I would not put it past them to have... What if they tested that on cats first? The giant gene. Follow me here. The gene that made giants giants, when women allegedly procreated with fallen angels and had giants. That's kind of inconvenient. You can't hide them. You see when your enemy's coming. They're clumsy. They're constantly, ruining houses and things. What if you could just get rid of that gene? Still, you're not killing them off or anything like that. What if you could make that a recessive gene? A recessive means that each generation it gets a little less prevalent. So what if the Egyptians tested that first on tigers? Because Gilgamesh, I showed you the picture of Gilgamesh not too long ago from Egypt, I believe it was, with Gilgamesh Sumer carrying his pet, which was a tiger, a giant, a big cat. What if they wanted to get rid of that gene so that they could blend in better, and so they tested it on cats first? I know that sounds weird, but look at what we do with dogs. I mean, I have a Chiweenie sitting beside me. It's a ridiculous name. She is ridiculously tiny. This is a dangerous world for such a tiny thing. I mean, I know it's not her fault. But should we really be tinkering with certain things like that? And of course, I love her. I'm going to take care of her. But I don't know that we should be messing with things like that. It's not good for their health. It's not good for their backs. Their hips get affected as well. But it's just a thought that I just had and I wanted to put out there. So we do have cats, although they're not mentioned in the Bible. As old as the Bible is, I really do find this interesting, but it's like they scoured any evidence of being linked to Egypt when some of their biblical characters were told to flee to Egypt or fled from Egypt. So you have this contradiction throughout history. You have this polarization. Are we ever going to get rid of that? Well, if you get rid of that, you have to get rid of the darkness. And is darkness intrinsically evil? Darkness itself, no. No, because we darkness can be helpful in all kinds of situations. Shadows, right? We need shadows for things, and shading and gradients of things. Just a few thoughts for you guys. Now let's go to something a little darker. Let's look at the Dark City plotline. In case you've never seen it, which most people who watch channels like mine and others have seen it. My dad always said the mutts are stronger and healthier. When referencing me, he adopted me. I mean, now, you know, I'm all for rehoming and I believe in caring for the animals, all that stuff. I just don't think we should necessarily be tinkering with their genes, you know? I don't know. Just a thought. This is why each kind is supposed to stay with its kind, though. It's better for that being. Or you have problems scientifically and medically speaking, though I'm not a scientist or doctor. We know this from research and from our experts who have told us these things. Please note my sarcasm. I only trust information back to a certain point and from certain sources. So John Murdoch awakens alone in a strange hotel to find that he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is that he can't remember whether he committed the murders or not. For one brief moment, he is convinced that he has gone completely mad. Murdoch seeks to unravel the twisted riddle of his identity as he edges closer to solving the mystery. He stumbles upon a fiendish underworld controlled by a group of ominous beings collectively known as the Strangers. There is so much wrong with this plotline summation, I can't even begin to tell you. That is a very, very, very superficial, base level idea of what's happening here because it's so much deeper than that. But that's basically what's happening. But it's more than an underworld. This isn't an underworld. These are like spiritually nefarious beings, right? Underworld to me is like crime. It's like, is trafficking, it's laundering, all that stuff. But that's men, right? That's money, that's men. These aren't supposed to be quote unquote men, you know? The guilty flee when no one pursues them. Yeah, true. True. And it's funny, like I said, that thou doth protest too much. If you say, and just like that alleged manager, the one who I had prayed for in town before, saw him hopping jobs, I felt bad for him. I was really good to this person, prayed for his woman who was hurt recently. Just, you know, I was always kind to him. Tried to give him some tomatoes, but that didn't work out. Then my drawer turns up short twice when he's there. And he gives me number 13 as a till number. And that's not even a till number that we use. Like, it's never even used. It's 21 or 22. That's it. So I knew, you know, that was his sign to me. Whether he did it intentionally or not, I know that the spirit working behind him did it intentionally. And I said, that doesn't make sense. Why would my drawer be shorter? Or why would it change? and he said something, and he said, "What are you accusing me?" And like got all froggy and like literally bouncing like these men that want to fight women. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Seriously, what's wrong with you? Because that's just not cool. Like, it's not. And I mean, I get it. Like, I will defend any child, woman, elderly person, man, even that I see being physically abused and violated against their will. But um, I'm not just going to pick a fight with a man for no reason. But men seem to really want to do that with women lately. The women, we have to be very careful. We have to be cautious. And I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. And that's why I want to go over the dark stuff a little bit, because we need to be aware, not because I think you need to be in fear. We only fear the unknown. Once you know about it, there's really nothing to fear, right? There's really nothing to fear once you figure out death is eternal, or death is a lie, and we are all eternal. I can't even begin to explain how that works. All I know is that there have been games going on with me my entire life. I've never actually been in the room when anyone has died. Though everyone around me has died, I've never actually been there when it happened. Certain people I was kept away from when they were allegedly ill. And yes, I'm saying allegedly because I don't know. When you don't see something for yourself in this place, it's very hard to accept it. I worked in a nursing home, a couple of them, for several years. Never ever did anyone die in my presence, ever. That's not normal. And I mean, as many people as there allegedly are, just when you're out and about every day, like if you go to the mall just twice a year to shop for gifts or something, eventually you're going to see somebody or be around somebody that dies out in public. How often does that happen? Something is really messed up in this place. Like statistically speaking, like numbers, speaking with numbers and facts, factually speaking, statistically speaking, that's not normal. Like that's just not normal for it to be like that. For someone like me. Like I was raised by a bunch of elderly people most of the time. Um I worked around the elderly people. I took care of family members who were dying. Never once did any of them die in my presence, ever. Like that don't seem weird to people. Like I feel like all of life is literally a movie set at this point. I really do. I go to get a drink of water out of a water fountain in the center of town by the gazebo. It don't work. It's fake. Like I'm sorry guys, you caught me in a weird mood because I'm like pinned to this place. I have no means or funds to just leave. I don't have family anywhere, so it's like, where am I going to go other than, someplace I always wanted to visit? But I know an old couple, husband died of pneumonia yesterday. 90 minutes later, wife died of cancer. A lot of times they don't stay alone here. I've seen that a lot. Absurd. And again, I'm not being disrespectful. I've lost so many people. Like, you have no idea at this point. Well, some of you do if you've been here for a while with my testimony. I've lost so many people, it's not even funny. Like, it has affected me greatly. And if I find out it's all been some lie, just like, and I have a couple theories as to why that could be possible. I'm not going to be happy. Like, this is not going to go well. Like I know our fight is not against flesh and blood, and I am a pacifist. I don't believe in owning guns for myself. I don't own any. Men normally do not feel such intense hatred for women. No. No, and I've taken care of, like, you just don't see that it's not, I don't know. I don't know, because I've seen it my whole life. But I've also seen great love and respect from men to their wives. So I don't think it's a norm. It's only a certain type of, it's an incel thing. It's only a certain type of man who is that way. And it's usually men who don't respect themselves and men who hate themselves. And I know that because I'm having a hard time forgiving myself and loving myself after some of the mistakes that I've made, which is one of the reasons I do this. And I confess brutally online to people, and I am brutally honest. But That was before the... Right. True. Um, well, hormones. If your hormones are out of whack, apparently that can do a lot to a person and how they treat others. I'm not a doctor, but I've been on steroids myself when I've had sinus infections, so I know how these things affect people. Um, only one chat. I don't know what that means. But if we, I don't like this. Anyways, there's something definitely strange, all very intentional. I agree, Sun, Moon, and Water. There's definitely something strange happening in our society, but it's not just the stuff that we're seeing on mainstream. It's not even just the incels or the small sect of the radical rainbow hijackers or the small sect of, you know, good or bad in any group. I'm not going to take sides in wars or anything like that. I think they're fruitless, and I think they are wicked regardless. And I think there's a lot of deception happening there too. I'll be really honest about it. I don't think there's a whole lot of legit people left anymore. Oh no, don't worry about it. I like when you're talking. And I don't know what that these other people were even talking about, Sun, Moon, and Water, so I think they're just here to distract. Um, or they're talking to you and I'm just lost. I'm only seeing some of the comments. So, is Dark City worth watching? I want to see something that references what happens when they're asleep. A man struggles with memories of his past, which include a wife he cannot remember, and a nightmarish world no one else ever seems to wake up from. I don't know what you mean, love. Like, oh, I like it when you chat. Yeah, so don't, please chat. You guys talk amongst yourselves even. I'm just going to continue on with the video. So a man struggles with his memories. Now the point is that when he is sleeping, once again, Tom Daly in a mask, absurd. um, is that you see this repeated in a few different places. Now, what is sleep really? What happens while we are sleeping that we are able to be manipulated like this? Oh, wait. I want to show you one more thing from Dark City, and then we'll go to the Truman Show. If they have a picture of it. I don't know if they will. The homes, the buildings that are actually inside, what they do is they reset these people, in essence, and they swap them from house to house, different houses, different families, just for the purpose of experimentation and seeing what it does to their souls. You know what I mean? Oh, geez, don't thank me. Seeing what it does to their souls, basically. Because you'll see this. There is again, there's a sect or a group of thinking, a mindset that through physical harm, like Dee Snider was really big into this. He had a movie about it when they hang people. And I don't mean by a noose, I mean hanging by like metal hooks and stuff. And they live and they do this to try and perpetuate some type of spiritual advancement or transcension through this physical harm. Okay? It's a movie. Dark City is a movie from the early 90s. And I read to you what it's about. And I'm going over that now about how strange it is that we have this trope, but we also have similar things happening at night when people have these alien visitation encounters or abductions and or sleep paralysis. These are all very similar. Why are they so similar? Why is it always men in black with black hats? Shadow people with hats. Why are they always very similar like this? And what truth is there in it? And what truth is there in the fact that a lot of these places in Dark City and the Truman Show are set up like sets? Not Slender Man. You have to go back way before Slender Man. Slender Man's a new invention. Right. And medium, you got to look at that word too and understand what that means. Television, movies, fairy tales, all of these things are ways in the past, stories were used to convey a truth or a moral lesson. And so for them to tell us in unequivocally that like something is fiction now is just ridiculous because there's always some element of truth in a story. Truth in films, lies in news, absolutely. Um, and again, they'll give you truth in the news, but watch it with the sound turned down. There's a lot of images that are betraying what they're doing. Symbols seem to manifest through the spirit, regardless. And I'm noticing that, and that's also what we're talking about. All right, so let's look at the Truman Show. I almost watched his other, whoops, wrong Truman. I almost watched his other thing the other day. Hold up, wasn't Truman? Wait a second. I just had a mini revelation in my mind. I am more convinced TV is more than we comprehend. TV is MK Ultra. Like, I don't know how many times I got to say this for people to get it. TV is MK Ultra because their definition of MK Ultra is somebody sitting in front of a screen with their eyes opened with a flicker rate, which is television, movies, commercials, ads, right? All this stuff. They're not going to pay to drag people out to FEMA camps. I keep telling you all this. The FEMA camp is your house. The prison is the television. Television is how they MK Ultra you. Like they make it look different in the movies, so you think that it's fake. They make it extreme. They mock it. They make it look mockery, right? So if you look at Stranger Things and you see like the men watching goats, you see people tied to chairs with their eyes held open like Clockwork Orange, right? His eyes are being held open. But if you think about it, again, visualize. Visually, that is very similar to any person sitting on their couch watching a television. And they don't have to pay for us, you know? Oh no, please, Sun Moon, don't apologize. I like these topics. They make me passionate. I'm not being whatever. Controlled by the same cycle every day. Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, I have to look at something because there's a reason for the words and the names they choose as well. Boy, Engine just thinks that they are so bright. I can't deal with narcissism anymore. And that's what some of that is. I am above, I am below, I am everything, I am nothing. Like, no. The footage coming back from this latest WAR is so fake. Oh, I would argue that they're all fake in the way that they've presented them to us. So Harry Truman was what was he? What was he? Say it loud and proud. 33rd president. Is that why they chose that name, Truman? Truman, 33. Ha ha, isn't that funny? Truman. Oh my gosh, there's so much there, symbolically speaking. I could do a whole video on the Truman Show, Harry Truman in 33 right now. Like, that's so deep. That's so deep. Now, is he the same one? And Sun, Moon, and Water would probably know this. The alien agreement, was it Truman that made it? Was it him? What is it called? Sun, Moon, Water, forgive me, for you know me better than I know myself. It's not what one is saying, it's what's in their hearts. It's always what's in your heart that's the most important. Shoot. What is it called? Okay, so allegedly there's this agreement, and I told you I believe that agreement is over. I think that's why we're seeing a rise in certain paranormal, supernatural activity. Oh, Eisenhower. Okay. Ike. Yes, thank you, ladies. I knew you would know. I knew you'd know. Okay, so Truman, this is who they picked. The 33rd president. He's a Democrat from Missouri. He was briefly the vice president. Marshall Plan to rebuild the economy of Western Europe. Wait, what? Isn't he an American president? See, there's so much wrong with We're obviously still under British regime. I mean, the feds, the money system is British. He's an actor like all the rest. Oh, I know, but again, I'm a symbols and words girl. I see symbols in words. Words are symbols to me. Symbols are words to me. So sometimes I can help us understand what's going on by analyzing. My mom used to, oh, you analyze too much. You're just like your father. You're so analytical. Stop it. Whatever. Y'all caught me in a weird mood today. I'm sorry. Haberdasher. He was a haberdasher? We just saw this word the other day and I'd never. I love this word. Is a business person who sells small articles for sewing, dressmaking, and knitting. In the United States and Canada, the term refers to I'm sorry. I know that's way off topic, but I had to check into it. That's weird to me. Okay, so it wasn't Truman. Now let's look at this. Is this possible? Could you actually do this to somebody? Okay. He doesn't know it, but everything in Truman Burbank's life is part of a massive TV set. Executive producer Christoph, which is Ed Harris. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? So I'm sorry, Bobbins. Isn't that funny? The Truman Show, a live broadcast of Truman's every move captured by hidden cameras. If you didn't know that, Truman's whole life is a lie. Everyone in his life is actors because he was adopted by a movie studio. How or why they let a corporation adopt a child and do this, I don't know. But it reminds me of what everybody says about American birth certificates making us all corporations. What if we're all just televisions for like aliens or Brits? Because I've run into way too many people who recognize me and seem to know things about me that should not know them. And I'm quite tired of it. Watched this film at school, then analyzed it. It's deep. Like it's really deep. The sad thing is that most people don't understand how very true a lot of it is. It might not look the same, but a lot of this is true. And sadly, a lot of the people around us, especially the ones in uniforms, which I'm going to do a whole video about, seem to be cast members of something that a minority of us are unaware of what's happening. And I know that sounds strange, and I know people are going to be like, oh, you're really weird, you've lost your touch with reality, this, that, or the other. Ogle. Oh, I have no doubt our devices are watching us. Like, I have no doubt. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing anything I'm not a big person. Nobody should care. I refused to see The Truman Show for years. Then it bored me. It's for being such like a sunny, bright, like, visually, it's very bright and everything's made to look happy or whatever, but it's very dark. Like, it's a very dark topic and it's very hard to watch, I thought. And I thought that there were a lot more indications of what's going on in real life. What is that? The story of a lifetime? I don't even want to know. That's not true, is it? You can't have a Truman Show, too. Oh, my bad. Maybe that's like, I don't know. Maybe it's a fan film. But anyway, I don't doubt you, Jen, about the movie. It's very strange, and I've had people like do this with me when the coffee scene, like I've shared that with you guys. I will post it again, but the coffee scene is exactly like my life. Like, I have people do that to me. Like, do you like this? Why don't you like it? You'd think they had stock in it. Why don't you like this? Because I don't care for it. Or if I do like something, oh, really? Why do you like? Like, it's like they want some endorsement from me verbally. How real is the Truman Show? It's funny because, even like the lights start falling down upon him, and they tell him it's a satellite or something, and it's a stage light. And so I don't think it's true in the way that, like, There's other movies like this. If you've ever seen Snowpiercer, this is an excellent one if you've never seen it, especially for this time of year. But it's another about false realities. What they think they're living is not what they're living. They've been told they are in a dystopian world with no hope. So they're on this train to avoid the cold because they can't live outdoors. This train was invented and created. The elites, of course, live up top. The king of the whole place, who again is Ed Harris. He's running the show again on Snowpiercer, just like he did in the Truman Show. And we have to talk about that too, about this aspect that are movies realer than we think? Are they actually showing us real people's lives from other times, other places that we just don't know ourselves personally? Because even some of these camera angles, and I really don't want to hear about technology in this respect because it's been going on since I started watching movies as a child. Some of these camera angles, like, they're impossible. They couldn't possibly happen. Not from the way we're showed films are made. I'm curious of what you think of that information, Jen. Which part? Oh, about Ed Harris? CGI, isn't it? No, I'm talking about regular camera angles, like of people really close together, kissing, canoodling, sometimes lower or above or really in somebody's face. And then you see immediately it's the same scene, same two people. It's not a different take because you can tell there's no editing being done. And then they turn and look at the other person. They come to the other person. You should see a camera there. You don't see anything. Just stuff is very weird. Anything can be fake these days. Oh, I'm very aware of that. It's entertainment or meant to tain, to hold intermittently. Right, to hold your attention, right? Because it's meant to distract you from your spiritual work that you're supposed to be doing. Which is why I shouldn't even be on this thing anymore, but it's the only way I can actually reach people, so it's what I do to try. And just talk with people and use the gift or the talents that God gave me to try and show people, hey, this is what's going on, or this isn't what's going on, this is fake, or this is real, or what have you, you know? Yes, I do think that it's very possible, and I know this sounds, I don't even know what to, let's just call it a what if. We'll call it a what if. What if our movies, our television, even our live videos are being used as entertainment or television for some other realm, city, country? Do you think that's possible or plausible? And why do people get typecast? If you don't know what typecast means, let's look at the definition, because I know I have some younger people here. Entrainment, that too. Typecast. Repeatedly, it's when an actor gets the same type of role, okay? Now, I saw a show last night with Columbo, and I love how they use all these words. Cast, right? Forecast. He was in a movie, and was it The Cat People? I can't remember what movie it is I watched. No, it wasn't from 1942. It was in the 70s. Anyways, Columbo, the guy who plays Columbo, is in a movie with these cat people. Okay? I'd like to see his work, like what else he's done. I forget his real name. This guy, Peter Falk. Do you know? It should be over here, 1970, Murder by Death. No, it's not that. I'm probably not going to put on here because it was a crap movie. It was like one of those non-heard of movies. But anyway, he's playing the same character when he's about 20 in a whole different movie. It's not in a Columbo movie at all. His name isn't Columbo. He's allegedly not playing a character. Why do they keep giving these same people these same types of roles? Ed Harris. Let's look at some of his roles. because he's playing the quote-unquote God or Satan. He could be either one, because some people say Satan is the god of this world, and so you could call him the Satan character, or you could call him the God, depending on how you perceive the movie, okay? But let's look at some of his movies and see what he's been in. Oh, and that's what I wanted to talk about school. Shoot, I meant to do that. That was supposed to be in yesterday's video. I'm still hoping to find out what you think about Germans pretending to be British. Wait, what did I say? I said it was weird that they had something to do with Europe. Oh, that our president was working to do something for Europe. It was weird. What I think about Germans pretending to be... Oh, that's a newer topic to me. I had just seen that, and that's so weird you brought that up. I just saw that in comments somewhere. This video went way off the rails. I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't know Ed Harris was in Mother. I'm going to have to watch that. So let's look at a couple of his videos that are similar. Are they going to even mention Snowpiercer? Okay. So we have... Where's the first one? The Human Stain. I don't even want to know what that's about. The Hour When We're Passing. Gone Baby Gone, which was a weird one. Beautiful Minds. I did not know he was in that. Waking the Dead. Well, he's in a lot with that's another Jennifer Connelly movie. The chat will distract. It does, but that's okay. I don't care if nobody else cares. Okay, so here we have him in Truman, 1998, where he's playing the quote-unquote God character. Are there any other movies where he has that type of character? It doesn't seem to really start until he gets a little... He doesn't seem to be in movies like that. The Abyss was another one. That's about aliens in the ocean, and I actually agree with that. I think they're not above us. They live in our waterways. And I love the water, so I'm not trying to say water's bad either. It's funny the way people's minds work and they turn one thing into something else. Coma. I'm going to have to watch that. Chan covers a pitch being the position. Michael Douglas. Soda. Okay, he must be in like... I don't know. I find this to be wrong sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So that's two that I know of for sure. I'm going to have to look at more, though, because it seems to be a trend. They seem to get these certain types of roles, and they stay in it. And I don't mean typecast. I mean something a little deeper. Pollock was another one. It's about an artist. That's a strange one. It gets strange. So we have The Truman Show. And we have Snowpiercer. And in both of those, radio wasn't... That was kind of normal. Wasn't he... Oh, what is that show called? Isn't he the guy in what you call it? Is he married to Jennifer Connelly or something? Why is he in so many movies with her? It's weird how they group people up like that, too. I really want to look at publishing houses and movie. Phantom. Okay, so we have him as the godlike character, the main character. In the Snowpiercer, he's got this huge ego. We have him in the godlike character in Truman Show. And that might be the only ones for him. The Adderall Diaries, I don't even want to know. Oh, wow, there's a bunch of movies he's in with Franco. That might be the only two for him where he's a character like that. Okay. What was the next thing? We were going from Ed Harris. Okay, now I want to look at the set of The Truman Show. Oh, no. No, no. I will listen. English hurts my head. I agree. I agree, I agree, I agree. What time is it? 1:15. Okay. So we touched on ravens being symbols and messengers. We touched on cats. How far back do they go? Why are they only mentioned on one side of things? We talked a little bit about false realities and why do these false realities in these movies have this thread of things happening with sleep and dreams. Now we're going to get very basic with this. I am not a control freak, she said. You guys are funny. Sleep disturbances. Sleep disturbances throughout history. The developments of sleep medicine. No. I want to look at something old. Hold, please. And this is what's disturbing too, is they're calling all these things disorders and saying that people have diseases when we are just different and every body is literally different than the next body. No. Whoops. Studied eye movements during sleep with the assistance. There. 1845. So that's really recent. We did not start even looking into what we do or what happens when we sleep until 1845. So I want to know what you guys think. Are alien abductions related to some type of dark city thing that's happening here? Is it people? Is it man-made? Is it the military-industrial complex? Because I know what I think, and I'm going to tie it all together with a nice ribbon for you when I get to that point of doing the timeline. But I think it's very possible mankind could pull off something like this. Would man do this all throughout history this long for all these many years? I don't see that as happening, no. Could man get bribed into it or paid off to do this to other men, women? Yes, I believe it could happen. Now, how deep does it go? If I look at Dark History again, or Dark City again, real quick, I want to look at if it'll show me. Yeah, Dark City evening. Now, what happens? I want to see how they explain it, because we'll explain it in a different way, probably. I'll probably have to write movie there, just so. The Dark City movie. Sorry. This is what you get when it's research with me. Of an anachronistic city where nobody seems to notice the perpetual nighttime. At midnight, he watches as everyone else falls asleep, and the strangers have the city physically rearrange itself and, assisted by Schreiber, change the inhabitants' identities and memories. Now, Schreiber is the character played by Kiefer Sutherland. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what they do at night. They rearrange people and the places, the whole city itself. They never have daytime there. It's always dark. It's always nighttime. And I don't want to tell you the end. I was actually perturbed with the end. A lot of people might like it. I didn't care for it myself. That's just me. I feel like storytellers do such a good job, and then they either don't know how to end the story, they don't want it to end. Endings are hard for me too, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I have a hard time with endings. A film packed with details that help tell the whole story. I want to see the way a few other places explain this, just so you guys get a total idea, because it's not giving me very many images to work with here for some reason. Neo-noir science fiction film. A man suffering from amnesia, we know that part. Majority of film was shot at Fox Studios, Australia. It was jointly produced by New Line Cinema and Mystery Clock Cinema. Mystery Clock, that's interesting. That's an interesting name. We should look at publishing houses real soon. Oh, it was re-released. I'll have to get it. There we go. Yeah, it starts really like it's all this big rush. Okay, eventually Murdoch learns his name and finds he has a wife named Emma. He's also sought by Police Inspector Frank William Hurt as a suspect in a series of murders. Though he cannot remember killing anybody, while being pursued by the strangers, Murdoch discovers that he has psychokinetic powers like them, referred to as tuning, much like what is referred to in by Stanley Kubrick as The Shining, right? And we've talked about telepathy at length because it seems to be a thing in my life and it won't stop. Maybe that's why I'm harassed so much. Maybe it's like that movie Chaos. Maybe when somebody knows how to do that, they think of that person as a threat. I honestly don't think it's me. I think it's other beings doing it, but I'll get into that later. Murdoch explores the city where nobody realizes that it's perpetually night. See, and nobody, like, it's normal for them, right? So they don't even know to ask or to say or do anything different because to them it is normal. Okay? And that's that again, we don't know what we don't know, so we don't know what to look for when we're researching all the time. He explores the city. When the strangers stop time, now I think that's key too. They stop time, and this is a big thing. A lot of people who experience alien abduction say that they have lost time. But wouldn't you think if they were these beings who were so much more advanced than us, shouldn't they be able to just put you back where they got you from? Shouldn't that be indicative that it's man doing this? Or at least man making this up? Because any being that's better than us should be able to manipulate time, especially if we're supposed to believe they come here from outer space. Why would people have lost time? You wouldn't even notice it. Aliens, if they're that great, should be able to put you back where they took you from. And I know most people are they're gonna be like, they're not even gonna consider the statement I just made. But if you think of that and you ponder on that and you meditate on that one thought, if you can make it up or conceive of it, then it's not coming from any superior being. Because if they're superior to us, they've already done it, said it, or created it, right? So if they're superior to us, like the navigator in that movie from the 80s, that kid was taken from his time. It tore his heart out, ruined his life, so the aliens put him back where he belonged in his own time. If they are coming from outer space, if they can travel faster than light, then they should be able to put you back where they got you from. Nobody ever says these things. And it's maddening. It really is. Like, and nobody wants to hear it, that aliens are malevolent. Whatever's doing this, whatever's interrupting us while we sleep, it is not a good thing. Unless you asked for it. I know I did not ask for it. It's going against our consent, which goes against natural law. It's not benevolent. It's malevolent. It is not a good thing. Okay? And again, I'm trying to show you the similarities. You have this movie, you have the Truman Show regarding the set and the actors around him, which totally relates to targeted individuals. You have Dean Koontz, who wrote a book about a certain virus in Wuhan. That's a plot in a book. Okay? And then you have another book that he wrote called The Whisper Room. If you read that series, it's 3 books thus far, I think. It's all about targeted individuals and why they're targeted. It tells you in there, that they are citizens who are considered to be non-compliant and that they may or could change or persuade those around them. Like, we have all of these things occurring and happening, and we need to use what's at our disposal. Nothing that is good will come to you while you're half asleep and ask you for consent then to do something to you. I'm sure I'll do whatever. That is the same thing as a drunken man taking advantage of a drunken woman. Or not drunken man taking advantage of a drunken woman. It is the same thing. Okay, these beings are not good. I don't care what anyone says. And when they try to start this invasion crap, and it's going to be crap, because they're not God. Because they can't do it the way God would do it. Every eye will see God. Every eye, when God decides to reveal himself and come. There will be no escaping that. Aliens or these things can't do that. But we need to understand how to use our sovereignty and free will, our consent, and how to fight against stuff like this. Because it's not just in movies. For some reason, it is happening in real life. To an extent. Now, again, they will always mock things. They will always make them look crazier, funnier, more ridiculous than they actually are in real life. Just like Stranger Things shows us MK Ultra and Clockwork Orange shows us MK Ultra as being some strange thing where they take you and hide you in an underground tunnel. No, really, it's just your living room, a couch, and the television. The television does the job itself. Most people sit in front of it anyway. And sure, eat while you're in front of it so that if anything ever does happen, you're in poor health and you can't defend yourself. Opposite of informed consent. I don't care what it is. I don't recognize it. They need to stop doing it. Like, I don't care what they think. That doesn't make them right. And I'm not mocking you. I'm speaking to them, not you, Sun, Moon, Water. Because nothing there on screen. I think we mocking because it's nothing there on screen. They're mocking it much like in real life when you have gaslighters. They mock it either because they don't understand it, so they fear it. Or they mock it because they know it's true. And for some reason don't want you going in that direction of truth. And you also have this concept, okay? And we're getting back, again, everything is a symbol. The characters are symbols. Their clothes are symbols. The pictures are symbols, right? There's another movie that this happens in. Somebody's going to have to help me. What do you think of ASMR seen on YouTube? A lot of the popular ones make Masonic symbolism. Yeah, I've been watching them to check them out. It's not just Masonic symbol, and I could care less, a symbol is what it is to them. Most YouTubers, period, are Masonic. If they have over 300,000 subs, they are Masonic. I say over 100,000, but I'm being charitable. They won't let you on here if you're not. I always kept the sound off, then laughed at TV when young anyway, now into my home. Oh, yeah, trust me, I understand. I appreciate them now because the TV raised me and babysat me. I appreciate them for the truth that they can tell. And I love art. I thought true filmmaking was and is an art form. Too sadly, you're not seeing that much these days. I understand. I'm not talking about the screen or the device, though. I'm talking about what is shown to us. And yes, symbols matter. That's how things manifest from the spirit into the physical realm, right? So there's another movie like this. You have Dark City, you have Truman, Snowpiercer, and it's a newer one. Not just Yes, Dear, or Don't Worry, Darling. That one was very weird. I can't even get into all that with you. I should, but I can't because it's just too much. But there's another movie like this that touches on this false reality. And when I remember it, I will either do a video on it or tell you guys about it. My doctor told me to read a book. Good advice. She's a wise young lady. Reading is good. I like reading. Shoot, I can't remember the other movie, guys. I was going to show you that. Anyways, so I showed you a little bit about symbolism, about how these things are related. Oh, the Adjustment Bureau, that's it. I always forget the name of that movie. No matter how many times I talk about it with a friend of the channel, because this is like one of his favorites. So this one is not as dark, but again, you see, well, he has the hat on this time, but you see these men working in the shadows of real reality, trying to keep these two people apart. And it's quite ridiculous. And it was released in 2011, which is another big year. Just as he's on the brink of winning a Senate seat, politician David Norris meets a ballerina named Elise. Though David is instantly smitten, mysterious men conspire to keep him away from the beautiful dancer. David learned that he is facing the powerful agents of fate itself, and glimpsing the future laid out for him, must either accept a predetermined path that does not include Elise, or else defy fate to be with her. Now let me be clear about the Bible. I'm not real hip on following a script for anything. This is why God gave us free will. Okay? That's number one. Number two, it's a very good historical and teaching text. I agree with that. Historical. As far as anything in the future goes, God gave us free will. The book of Revelation might have an idea of the future in it, but a book cannot encompass all of God or all of God's stories, and he keeps some things for himself. Otherwise, he will be bound by people saying, this is God's word. He might be bound by that. So he keeps some things for himself, and he doesn't get into everything. But I do believe there is wiggle room. I don't think the book of Revelation, it's not very specific. So I think things will be seen differently. I have been banned from some channels because apparently my name is rude in English slang. Cottage Ing? See, and I don't know nothing about that. People that, you know what I mean? It's just strange that it's strange what people expect you to know. Tell me that's Ed Harris again, and I will just... Is that Ed Harris? That's not Ed Harris again, isn't it? It better not be. Because, he's in all these weird movies. Cast. Oh, no, it's... Okay. I was going to say, if it's him again, that's just too much. Hey, Pedro Pascal's in that. I didn't know he's in that. Okay, he's not in this one. I was like, whoa, if that's him again. But the Adjustment Bureau, you have this idea of fate having wiggle room, okay? That's true. You do have the wiggle room, and I believe God did that for a reason. I believe that the book of Revelation is rather obscure and vague for a reason, and I think that's a good thing. God saved some things for himself, herself, because we're not meant to know everything. We wouldn't learn that way. But I think that we need to ask questions. I think that there are nefarious things taking place, nefarious agents against us. If your personal, what is he called, Agent Smith, wants to keep you away from something or someone, I would tell you to run to that thing or someone, okay? If you recognize somebody in your life as an Agent Smith, as a Judas, as a nefarious agent, as someone from the Adjustment Bureau, as a men in black, as a deceiver, and they are trying to sway you to do a thing, say a thing, be a thing, I would tell you to run in the other direction. because there is something nefarious happening here. But I want to know what y'all think. And I will say this, when I used to not sleep at all, like I sleep better now, but I have to like really put myself down to sleep. Like I could probably tranquilize a horse with what I got to do just to sleep. But they really don't like that I was a late night owl. They did not like me being awake. I had more than one person comment on it and tell, oh, well, I sleep this way and you should really get to bed earlier. Just all these weird things, right? So what are y'all doing at night that you don't want me to see? And somebody will say, well, maybe it's something simple. Maybe somebody's having an affair. Yeah, I've looked into all that. I've thought all of those things. This is with reality. Now, have you ever noticed, like, how many of you guys, have you ever just counted the empty houses around you? Like, how many houses actually have a family in them? And some of them won't even say for sale. They're just empty houses. Do that today. Be observant. Watch for that. I try to give you guys little things to look for and look at and watch for. Watch for how many empty houses you encounter. And you can tell if they're empty. Somebody might even cut the grass, but ain't nobody living there. You never see a car there. You never see anybody going in or out. You never see a light on. Why? This place is full of sets. Why is every city block set up the same? Why are they all mapped out the exact same? Why do we even have some of our names the same as other places? There's a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's a Pittsburgh, California. Two completely different coasts. Is that for the purpose of confusion? Is that why it's been done this way? But ask yourself, watch around you. How many people around you are different or new in your neighborhood? And how many buildings are in use or empty? Recognize that today. Make the observation. Because I'm actually going to do a video about that. About empty buildings. And I'm talking silly here because it's Google. And because I can't see it beyond the comments. I can't see when I'm typing. 2019, 2015, 2017, 2021. You see how many people are asking the same question? Now, they give you a variety of different excuses, one to fit every need. But is that really what's happening? I shared a video. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I shared a video where it talks about how an empty house was used as a cover for pipes from the water company. Why were the played by men? I think they lie about why. Well, originally, actor, probably Michael Jackson in a mask. Okay, I don't know who y'all are talking about. Sorry about that. What did you just say? Sun, moon, and water? Oh, the original reason. Where's a black cat in Westworld? I knew that was him. Westworld. I knew it. Thank you, Corrine. Ah, like I couldn't remember the name of the show. I'm going to have to go back and watch that disgusting show all the way through just to see what his character does or who he is. Because I want to talk to Ed Harris. I want to know why he has all these same movies that he's cast in. And I think Matt from QOC did this a couple years ago. I haven't watched his channel in like 2 years. I know he's still alive and I pray for him and all that. I just, we think too much the same. And I don't want his videos to influence mine. I know that sounds weird. But I don't. And so, yeah. And because again, like I said, people who are real big YouTubers who got big pretty quickly, they're in the club. I don't know that he is or not. I hope he's not, but he might be. All they really have to do is lie to you about one thing to be in the, like that's one of the things, I think. Because if you notice, every church denomination, they all have one heir. Or every, like, big-time mega preacher, they all have, like, one lie. Like, they might tell you the truth about a whole bunch of things. But they throw a lie in there, man, that'll set you on the wrong path. Hey, you okay? I don't know why you do that all the time. I got so many different people on here anymore. Okay, so yes, there are a lot of empty buildings, and we're going to check into why. Um, Come on, man. I don't know who you are talking to. Um, yes, they place a hint in the name. Right. But I think the reason that we were originally given why men played women back then was because women weren't allowed to do anything, and they definitely didn't want them on a stage. A lot of women didn't read yet. Women were illiterate. We were the last to do everything. When I am lied to by another, it is treated as a felony. Oh, come on. I will apologize. I don't know what you guys are fussing over. Nobody needs to apologize to me for anything. So yeah, we're gonna check this out. We're gonna check out why there are so many empty buildings. Now, some of them are used by public utilities just to cover things. More to that, Jen. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying the public reason I think was that. The other reason, lady, I don't really want to know what kind of world I live in that way. Everything has been turned into some sensual thing, even people's identity. Man, I've had it up to my eyeballs with people talking about sex that I just, seriously, like, that's all you have to talk about in this world? Not you per se, I'm saying in general. Um, I just can't. I don't know why everybody's so obsessed or so preoccupied with their body and gender and the things you can do with your body. I talked about that a little bit in a video I did about a month ago about that Kristen Stewart, the new movie, about how they were talking about surgery being the new sex. And I was just like, wow, this is sad but true too. Like, this is happening. Um, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, everything's gotten very base, and base. When I say base, I mean that in a bad way. I lied to myself because I thought I comprehended, another lied to me. That's all you ever do. Do you take accountability for anything? Like, I'm just curious. I'm not like recriminating you or condemning you. I'm saying, like, you're so zen about everything, it's almost unaccountable. I lied to myself because I thought I comprehended, another lied to me. I saw death, or I experienced this evil thing because I saw evil in another, but that's really evil in me. That's just so bizarre. But anyways, we're going to talk about all the empty buildings, why that is the way it is. We're going to talk about typecasting, but we're also going to talk about All Hallows Eve and a little bit more about symbolism. Symbolism's a main thing in my channel. But I start with a thing like a raven or a cat, and then we go from there. So we will get deeper into every one of these topics as we go along. But I think this is intriguing. I think that something is happening in our unconscious hours while we sleep and dream. What is it? I don't know. Do you think it's more like the Truman Show? Do you think it's more like the Adjustment Bureau? Do you think it's more like this? In Dark City, do you think it has more dark connotations? And do you relate it to scripture? And also, we had a video about the Mormon book talking about parallel universes. And I think that's kind of mentioned in scripture too, in the Bible. So we're going to look at all these things. I want to look at the Mormon book again about other realities or dimensions and discuss what that actually means. And, all these things are leading to a place. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was super fun. Thank you to the new people for being here. I try to be involved in the chat, but it just ends up messing things up because I'm like half in, half out. I apologize. It's always glad to see y'all here. But yeah, let's try to keep it respectful and kind, or if you can't understand somebody, just let it be. When you have time, not at the moment. I think TV is seeking to tell me what to think, a control measure. TV is definitely a control measure, but there are people like us in those institutions, so they do tell us truth. You can't deceive somebody without the truth being a part of it. So yeah, I think, and I mean, hey, if you think that way, you don't have, I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe just skip these videos and watch the other ones. The first half of my comment is up higher. I'm sorry. I can't scroll either. Oh, doesn't let me do anything on a phone. I apologize. Yes, programming is a series of commands. Yep, TV programming. Again, we're kind of past that level, but we're trying to go deeper with all of these things. So, while we sleep, what actually happens? Let's talk about that in the comments, guys. His enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. I actually think that it's very possible some type of spiritual rapture, one, possibly two, have already occurred. This might just be me. Maybe it's a semi-regular thing too. But I definitely think there's more to this. Something is going on in the evening hours. And the more that I see somebody giving something a hard time. Have you seen a video by Kate Bush called Them Heavy People? No. The more I see people trying to dissuade me for something, the more I go that way. Do you know what I mean? So if you notice any Agent Smiths in your life telling you not to do a thing, not to look at a thing, not to research a thing, and you know they're an Agent Smith and they don't care about you, look into that. A video by Kate Bush called Them Heavy People. Black fedoras. Hey, I'm going to try and schedule a couple of videos for Saturdays and do Truth in Song Saturdays or something like that. Song Saturdays. But I love doing lyrics and videos. Should I just look it up now? Them Heavy People. I mean, while we're still here. Let's check it out. Is it the one from Stranger Things? Is it this song? Are you gonna ruin this song for me? All right, wait. Let's go back. I gotta see that picture first. See, and the peace sign is really big right now. Again, you have all these things from the Brits, and that's offensive, I think they believe, is the F off sign. Why does it say it was released in 1978? Isn't she a new singer? No, me too, sun, moon, and stars. So don't, sun, moon, and water. I always forget. Okay, so don't worry about it. I get passionate about things. I'm not condemning anybody. I'm giving my feelings on it too. She's old. Wow, I didn't know they brought her back. No wonder they did, though. If she's dead, they can just, the studio gets all the, they're bringing back all this old stuff, like all this 80s crap, and it looked like crap, like they grabbed from a warehouse, was in Walmart when I first went to Walmart after CV. I thought people would not be wearing those anymore, but they were. All right, let's see what it says. Them Heavy People. Rolling the ball to me, rolling the ball to me. And they arrived at an inconvenient time. I was hiding in a room in my mind. That's funny because that's what I do. My prayer closet in my mind. Okay, I actually have a prayer closet, but it's also, there's one in my mind too. She's still alive. It's a weird video. So now I take the opportunities. Wonderful teachers ready to teach me. I must work on my mind, for now I realize every one of us has a heaven inside. That's true. Them heavy people hit me in a soft spot. Them heavy people help me. Them heavy people hit me in a soft spot. Okay, so let's make note here for anyone younger. Heavy was slang. I don't know in this song specifically. I'll have to listen to it. Maybe Corinne, who suggested it, can help us. But heavy used to mean like, wow, dude, that's heavy. Like deep. Like, that's a deep topic. I thought Bush died. Maybe I've been Mandela affected. Rolling the ball to me, rolling the ball to me. Ah, they opened doorways that I thought were shut for good. They read me. Okay, this must be a guru. I've never heard of it before. Gurudif. Maybe that's where guru gets its name. And Jesus. Jesu is Latin. They build up my body, break me emotionally. It's nearly killing me. But what a lovely feeling. It's implying the fedora people help us, I think. See, and thank you for bringing that up, Corinne. That's the other perspective. that I want to look at this from. The first thing is to understand that something may be happening. The second thing, are they here to help us or harm us? Well, I think anything that goes against your consent is benevolent or malevolent. However, I know we have angels as well, so yeah, Corinne, I think that's a good thing to be. There's healthy skepticism, there's something to be said for these days in every aspect. Even me, if I'm a Christian paradigm and somebody tells me Jesus said something, I'm going to be like, did he really say that? I should probably go pray on it. Does it sound like his character? Let's test the spirit, right? Like, I'm not just going to, and just like I should have known with that job, when somebody else thought they knew the will of God for me better than me, only you know the will of God for you. Yes, prophets come to tell us certain things, I believe to warn us. We've had prophecies that have not happened because their warnings were taken to heart. I'm not a healthy role model. Oh, stop it. Stop. I love the whirling of the dervishes. I love the beauty of rare innocence. You don't need no crystal ball. Don't fall for a magic wand. We got it all. We perform the miracles. I'm kind of starting to see that myself. I see what she's saying. Them heavy people hit me in a soft spot. Them heavy people hit me in la 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 la. Okay, so she goes on and on like that. Wow, I actually really like that. They open doorways that I thought were shut for good. They build up my body, break me emotionally. It's nearly killing me, but what a lovely feeling. And you could say that, right? I've said that all along, that even though, like, all of these things that I've gone through that feel like they're horrible at the moment, in the moment, at that time, they're making me stronger. It's making me more compassionate to other people maybe who are struggling and in similar positions, other women and mothers. Sadly, I am still super skeptical of those closest to me because I've been hurt by them so much. So I'm still trying to find a happy space. Does your dog snore? Gee, I don't know. Why don't you tell me? He doesn't want to snore now. He's mad. Sammy, are you snoring? Are you snoring? You're a naughty boy. Say no, Sammy. We went for a walk at like 6:30 this morning, and then he ran. Oh, there he goes. Yes, he does snore, by the way. The link will be attached for anyone who wants to help out. I would really like to do a few things, but it's not necessary. It's not a necessity. I'm not going to beg people. There are a lot of people who teach occult magic on YouTube who wear fedoras with feathers, a reference to Hermes. Okay, so I'm going to, again, to me, symbols are not bad or good. They just are, okay? You're not kidding, lady. My dad wore fedoras. My dad said I should be a woman who wore hats. I love hats. I actually still have a brown, I don't know if I'd call it a fedora. It might be more of a bowler hat. But I love hats. So let's not make hats wicked, please. But I'm kidding. I'm kidding with you. Could they be helping or hurting us? Friction helps to refine a spirit or a soul. But once you get to a certain point, it will only cause erosion, and then you're getting rid of the good stuff, the good bits, right? Now, God knows how much we can take. Our higher consciousness, our higher self knows how much, but we might not know how much, right? And so this is where the line needs drawn. I love you guys. I really do. And it would be so awesome to just like get together and have a cup of coffee or orange juice and just hang out. Because these conversations are awesome. Sun, Moon, and Water and Corinne, stellar additions to the conversation today. Thank you so much. I'm going to blame them for getting us off topic, but wow, what neat places you took us to, both of you. So yes, Sun, Moon, and Water brings up another topic. There's a reason I was looking at top hats, guys, and we're going to be looking more at hats. Pronouns. Oh no, oh, stop it. Yes, and this is a channel, I hope, where you can mostly escape from things. I only cover certain things if they really need to be said or shown, or I feel like, we've God has given us a message about it, and then I say, hey, there's confirmation, But yeah, anyways, I love you guys. It's great having you here. When live next? Whenever the urge hits me, I do everything by the Holy Spirit and by intuition. If something comes up, then that's what I do. But I have like 20 videos backlogged right now, and I have face-to-face lessons I would really like to do on consent. If that still interests you guys, let me know, because it's going to take a little work. If not, I will set it aside, because I'm working right now on and yes, I actually do make notes and do that type of stuff when I do the face-to-face videos. I'm hoping the Eclipse one can be face-to-face, because I think it's important to be able to see somebody's eyes when they're telling you something, and to, that's how you know if somebody's being honest with you. And I have a lot of people anymore who won't look me in the eye. But I'm going to do the whole timeline of what I think has happened between 2017 and 2024, and what all of these little or smaller aspects have to do with that, regarding alien abductions, possible raptures, strange events in the sky and in the water in Florida and elsewhere. So yeah, we're going to look at all these things. But thank you guys for being here. I love you. Have a blessed day. Yes, my doggy snores. He snores, but he is my best friend. And if I did not have him, I don't know what I do. And they know this. They know that that's how I feel about my friends. But you guys have a blessed day, and I'll go live again soon. Remind me, I'm going to do a couple other songs that I've been wanting to look at, a couple older songs, and I might post those and just upload them for Saturdays. So watch for those, guys. All right. I love you guys. Have a blessed day. We'll talk again soon.